the wrong church, hon. It's the wrong church.
There's not much left in Barnett, Georgia. The railroad community that sprang up to serve as a watering station and depot in the 1800s has all but disappeared over time. Trains no longer take passengers suffering with rheumatism and other ailments to the Hillman House Hotel, known for its healing waters. The population dwindled while other towns grew larger, so CSX had no need for the wood and granite light depot with its attached loading barn. It's been over 50 years ago since the railroad tore it down. Through the years, the natural landscape had covered or eroded all evidence of the post office, telegraph service, and mercantile shops. It really seemed that Barnett was destined to be only, as one Google search revealed, a dot on a map, its story forgotten. But the community's story has found another chapter and a happy ending. With the attention and elbow grease of Reverend Glenn and Rachel Hindley, as well as some help from the Methodist Augusta District, the church has been restored and will once again host services, breathing new life into the area. In 1876, Lawrence Battle Sr. donated a 2-acre lot for the church. One of the most charitable men of his day, and especially to those who were less fortunately situated than himself, he was ever ready to back up his cordial greeting and genial smile with deeds that made him a veritable angel of mercy to the poor. 2 years later, he died. He and his wife were the oldest documented graves in the cemetery. His daughter, Mary Lou Battle, died in 1900. The Angel of Barnett was placed at great expense by her family to honor her memory. It is one of the most inspirational gravestones in Georgia and has quite a legend associated with it. Many people have reported the Italian marble angel turns to watch visitors leave the cemetery. Some people refuse to visit this final resting place without the company of others. Standing on the grounds of Barnett, you would never know that just down the road, through the woods on private land, stands an old Baptist church and cemetery. Records indicate there are 24 unmarked graves there. The oldest documented interment is 1886, and the latest is 1976. Confederate veterans are buried there along with Barnett.
It's important to share stories. Without them, we have no past. I was a war baby back in 1943. Barnett was my first home. I lived with my parents, brother, and grandmother Addie Mag in her white house next to the small country store. It was owned by my daddy's brother. Back then, everyone around was worried about family and friends who were fighting in the war. Mother had 2 brothers in the military. Daddy's younger brother was stationed in Texas. Luckily, he never saw any action. Everybody had ration books, grew most of their own food, and reused everything they could since things were so hard to get back then. Mother told me that when I was born, my brother Tommy was so excited for me to come home from the hospital, he had his little red wagon waiting to take me to see the trains go by. When he learned I was way too young for that, the excitement of a new baby sister wore off pretty quickly. Ever since I was a little girl, I have loved Barnett. I was only 3 when we moved to Crawfordville so Tommy could go to school. Barnett's schools had closed years before. Every chance I got, I would return to visit my grandmother Addie Mag. In the 1950s, there were still enough children around here to have a baseball game of 2 teams, as long as everyone showed up to play. Summer was carefree and filled with adventures. All the children would love to play church in the old Baptist church building. It still had its pews and preaching stand. We'd take turns being the preacher. My Granny Chapman was the last surviving member of that church. If someone came into my uncle's store looking to find it, she'd volunteer to escort them to that old cemetery and help them find the graves of their family. Those were good memories. Now the cars and trucks roll right by the few habitable homes that still exist around here. They can't even imagine the full and wonderful lives that once flourished in this little community. By preserving Barnett Methodist in our oral histories, our little community can continue to pass on our history, ensuring that Barnett will not be forgotten.
I don't think we're going to be able to get in here, Daisy. But I can check. I don't think so. Unlocked. Come on, Ann. Hi, Ann.